There's something about this place. There's a sense of calm that washes over me when I'm here. The Oregon coast is a very special place to me, and I want to shine the light on a piece of its history. The Lighthouses of Newport.
My name's Jay Moeller. I'm the Chief Park Ranger here at Yaquina Head Outstanding Natural Area. Yaquina Head has been here obviously for many thousands of years. It's a basalt headland, which means it's made of lava. It juts out 1 mile into the ocean. So when you're standing at the very edge of Yaquina Head by the lighthouse, you are actually a mile out to sea. And all around you on three sides of this very narrow peninsula, ocean as far as you can see. Yaquina Head's a pretty important historical site. In the latter half of the 19th century, the Yaquina Head and the other lighthouses you see on this table pretty much secured the western frontier of the United States of America. At the time, it was brand new territory. There were many farmers living in the Willamette Valley and other parts of Oregon who needed lighthouses and ocean transportation. If they were not successful, then this territory might not have turned out to be the way it is, gone from a territory to a state, and continue today to be a U.S. property.
Indeed, it's probably one of the most important ones, both this and the Yaquina Bay Lighthouse. The Bay Lighthouse being a couple of years older than Yaquina Head's, but still goes back 143 years, when Newport was simply a little town of about 67 people at that time.
Well, that's a good story. Why are there two lighthouses in Newport in the first place? A lot of people say, well, Yaquina Head was built and it put the other lighthouse out of business, and that would seem to indicate that there was a lack of planning, which is not true at all. So this was the heart of the Oregon territory, the Willamette Valley. To make those farmers successful, they had to ship their stuff down the Willamette River, out the Columbia River, south to San Francisco, where it was repackaged and put on ships to Asia. Now, without lighthouses, that could only occur during daytime. The idea behind the lighthouses was, by putting the lighthouses approximately 40 miles apart, and having the beam of each lighthouse go 20 miles out, as a ship traveled south, by the time they lose sight of that lighthouse signature, which is the unique blinking pattern, a signature, the next one comes in. And then they travel past this one. By the time they lose sight of this lighthouse, Yaquina Head comes into play. All these big lighthouses out here were planned. The big coastal lights, if you can think of this as Interstate 5 out here, they keep Interstate 5 open at night. Little lighthouses are like exit signs saying, turn here, come into Yaquina Bay, and typically there'd be a railroad track running to the valley. Well, there was a railroad company in those days who wanted to build a railroad from the Willamette Valley out to Yaquina Bay. And the founding fathers of the city of Corvallis and Eugene were also very interested in finding this shortcut to San Francisco. So instead of shipping their stuff all the way up here, all their wheat and their wool, what they wanted to do was to ship it up to Corvallis or Albany, go by railroad to Yaquina Bay, then head south and cut this out. So they wanted this wagon road, and they lobbied Congress to have a lighthouse built here at the mouth of the river so that they could get in and out of the mouth at night. Without a lighthouse, they could only cross during high tide. There are 2 high tides per day, one at day, one at night. So with the lighthouse there, they could cross at the daytime high tide and the nighttime high tide.
Well, the lighthouse had gone through a lot by that time, and it was in pretty deteriorated shape, and it was owned by that time by the state, the state of Oregon and Oregon Park System. And it was in such dilapidated condition that they announced that they were going to demolish it. A group of citizens banded together, and a group which, by the way, later became the County Historical Society, and they exerted enough pressure to have the state reconsider and, as a matter of fact, undertake restoration of that lighthouse at that time. So with the money to spend, they said, oh, well, we'll build a lighthouse, and that's how that kind of came into being. It operated for 34 months with the keeper and his family over there. The lighthouse service had gone ahead and ordered the building of the Yaquina Head Lighthouse. So by the time that was finished and erected, they realized they really didn't need both. The whole idea was to identify the entrance to Yaquina Bay and the Newport area, and this Yaquina Head Lighthouse did that very well, so that they saw no further use exactly for the lighthouse at Yaquina Bay, so it was simply abolished.
Every light has a blinking pattern that is unique, and it tells ships traveling at night which lighthouse they are near. If you look right here, the blinking patterns are indicated on this map. And this is a historic map from about 1897, I believe. And it shows Yaquina Head's blinking pattern as a solid line, as opposed to the other ones which have dotted lines. What that means is, while these lighthouses blinked, and this one blinked 2 whites, 1 red light, 2 whites, 1 red, this one blinked white, 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 Yaquina Head has a solid line. It did not blink. And it did not blink because it has no rotational device inside like the other lighthouses have that make the glass spin. And it operated as a non-blinking lighthouse. It's called a solid fixed white light for many years. Until 1930s, when electricity came to Yaquina Head and they put a light bulb up in there instead of a lard-powered flame. The Interpretive Center has exhibits and 2 movies, as well as ranger-led programs. And the idea is the movies and the exhibits provide information to the public. The ranger-led programs, in addition to information, will hopefully connect people both intellectually and emotionally to the resource. We really like to see people down the tide pools in person with a ranger if possible. We will teach people the stewardship skills. By that we mean how to walk through a tide pool without killing the things you came to see. We have various environmental education activities for school groups and other groups that come visit Yaquina Head. So we have not only the Interpretive Center, which provides basic information on the history of the lighthouse and the natural history of the tide pools, but beyond that, we have ranger-led programs. We hope that people will participate in both, so they get not only that cognitive information at the Interpretive Center, but also go out there with the ranger and learn more about the emotional attraction that they may have to the resource. Friends of Yaquina Lighthouses is a 501(c) nonprofit organization. They help the Bureau of Land Management provide both educational programs for the public and help preserve the lighthouse.
Well, there's a friends group, the Friends of Yaquina Lights, and they are dedicated to helping out in all ways possible. They have a membership program. They try to involve people from all over in subscribing and helping for memberships. And a lot of that money is directed to restoration projects, various ones that the lighthouses and the ownership there identifies. And other ways, here at Yaquina Head, there's a volunteer program, and they do all kinds of things. They don't give tours of the lighthouse, the staff does that, but there's all kinds of volunteer activity out here. We have tide pools, we have front desks to man, we have all kinds of, being a part of it, they have all kinds of opportunities for volunteers here. And at Yaquina Bay, the state parks does run a volunteer program over there where docents escort the public through that lighthouse there. So there's lots of ways to get involved financially as well as putting your body in place.